Golly gee, Andrew, that was a real whopper of an episode. You can even say it was a gas.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Daniel.
This is Everyday Nerds. Today, January 15th, we just got done watching WandaVision, episodes 1 and 2.
Which was a real treat because I only thought we were going to get the one episode today, and we got 2.
Yeah. So we're just not going to waste any time, and we're going to dive right into it. But before we start, we're going to give a spoiler warning.
So if you want to watch, that's fine. Pause this right now. Watch episodes 1 and 2 on Disney Plus, and then come back to us for all the expert. Do you have to quotation marks that?
Yeah.
I mean, we are experts, right? We're the everyday nerds.
Obviously.
So, we thought we were getting 1 episode. We got 2 episodes, which is a really nice surprise. And when we start looking at the first episode, it's like a 50s sitcom. It has its own intro. It tells the story of, them being there. It even introduces them as their names, Wanda and Vision, and there's a song about them. You get into the house. It's very period. It looks like a house from any sitcom. We specifically think this might be more I Love Lucy trying to fit because the plot was so comical.
Yeah.
And, basically the plot of the show was, Vision and Wanda see a heart on the calendar. And they don't know what it is. They think it means it's for the date that day. So they think it might be an anniversary, but they're playing that little game where oh, you don't know, oh, you don't know, But anyways, so Vision finds out when he goes to work that actually it's a shorthand abbreviation for his boss, Mr. Hart, coming over with his wife for dinner.
Yeah.
Well, Wanda seems to think it might be their anniversary, but because she doesn't remember how long they've been together or anything. So that's weird that they don't have memories, but they know that he's a robot. They know she has powers. So they know they're different, but they just don't remember anything about their past lives, which brings us questions. Now,
so I'm going to point out really something about the heart really fast.
Yes.
So Wanda makes a point of, why would we shorthand this? I can move things with my mind, and Vision has super speed. And Daniel makes a really upset personal opinion he has about that. You want to tell him about it?
Is that personal opinion is that he doesn't have super speed? That's a clue that I think lets us know something's really off here, because if he had super speed, he would have saved War Machine in Civil War. He doesn't have that power, and Wanda exhibited powers that she doesn't have in the movies themselves. Now, she may have had these powers in the comic books, but not in the Marvel MCU that we know of. And some of those powers seem to be turning back time. When she was cooking dinner, she was cooking a chicken with her mind and then overcooked it and then turned it back into a basket of eggs.
Almost like the Time Stone.
But I would like to point out, when does one chicken turn into a basket of eggs?
We're not cooking professionals here. Don't question it.
Oh, fine. I'm not going to point it out.
Maybe because it's we're fast forward just a hair. And there's a guy watching the show. So maybe just because it's an actual show that's wherever this is taking place, that's why.
I don't know, but the hijinks ensue because she thinks it's their anniversary. It's actually the boss is coming over for dinner. So it's kind of hilarious. We're not going to get into all the details. The main thing to focus on is when they were finally eating dinner.
Yeah.
We had some weirdness going on.
Moved from where? Married when? Damn it, why?
Oh, Arthur, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Somebody that I love to death is in this show, Deborah Jo Rupp, who played Eric's mom in that 70s show, Kitty. And she brings that craziness to this episode, actually, because while they're sitting around the dinner table and eating, the boss starts questioning, why don't y'all remember, It's really weird. He starts beating on the table, and it just wasn't with the rest of the tone of the episode.
Yeah.
And then he starts to choke, and then we hear a clock in the background, and we don't know why. And then, Deborah Jo Rupp's character, and I can't remember her name, I'm sorry.
Miss Hart. I think
Miss Hart. Miss Hart, she just keeps saying, stop it, stop it, stop it. And she's doing it weird,
She's laughing.
She's almost, and it's a weird, it's a nervous laugh too. It's just weird, and he falls down. Vision uses his powers to pull the piece of food out of his esophagus and saves him. And then they just leave. It's like, dinner's not over.
They didn't even act like anything happened.
Yeah, they just acted like nothing happened. The boss was upset with all the hijinks going on before this scene. And after this scene, everything's fine. You're getting we'll talk to you Monday about the promotion. I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
And one of my personal theories about that is so he's beating the table and he keeps asking the same question like he really wants to know. So... We know that sword comes into play. At the end of this episode, we saw the notebook. Yeah. And then we see it later on and stuff.
To point out, the crazy thing about this episode is, at the end of the episode, you see a TV screen, some woman, it looked like there, with a notepad that had Sword's logo on it. So we know Sword's a part of this.
Yeah. But, so... We see the logo and stuff, and he's sitting there beating the table like he wants to know the answer. And that just really reminds me of, if you're watching a detective show or something and they're investigating and they can't get the answer, they often start hitting the table and stuff. So it makes me wonder if, they're trying to investigate her, through a sense of comfort. Because they asked that question some in the second episode, too, where are you from and stuff like that. So...
and in the second episode, though... I don't know. I felt like something was broken. Like that scene, something broke
in the clock.
In the clock, in reality, something was weird about that. And I'm sure once we watch more episodes, we'll come back to this episode and it'll make more sense. But, that episode ended, is it ended just like a 1950s sitcom would end, a little joke at the end. And, they hit the TV remote, it comes out, we see a little bit of maybe the real world and somebody watching them on TV. So with, like we said,
The Notebook.
The Notebook. So that's the first episode. The second episode is totally different. Set that one for us, Andrew.
Which one? It's basically the whole plot of the show is it starts with a tree hitting their window, and they think it's a burglar, so Vision goes to a crime stoppers meeting for the community, and then Wanda goes to the wife's gossip gathering where they're planning the school's magic show because they're trying to raise money.
Talent show.
And then they're doing a magic act, so it's kind of all about them getting ready for their magic show, then them both handling their separate things, and then coming together at the end. And weird stuff happens to both of them in this episode.
Weird stuff happens to both of them. Now, we'd like to point out that this episode definitely is Bewitched. It's even got the Bewitched intro to it. We'd like to, one thing that we noticed is the hairstyles have changed. The way they talk has changed. This definitely feels like a sitcom from the 1960s now. It seems like a lot of the same characters that were playing roles in the first episode are now playing different roles in this episode. It's the same people, but they've got different roles. They're not exactly the same roles.
Yeah. They have the same names.
But they have the same names. And we start seeing more wonky stuff in this episode. Like, at one point in time, Wanda sees a helicopter that's red. This is all in black and white. She sees a red helicopter.
It's red and gold.
And it has the insignia for...
Sword.
So
if you don't know what SWORD is, it's the Sentient World Observation and Response Department. And that's like S.H.I.E.L.D., but S.H.I.E.L.D. handles more earthly things, and they handle more extraterrestrial outer space.
But Andrew, S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't exist anymore.
You know what I mean. But, so that logo, like we said, has popped up a few times. So
it popped up a few times in the first episode, but in this episode, that's the first time we see it. We'll see it again later. But, that happens, and it's just blowed her away. She's really curious. She sees color and everything else is black and white. So we're assuming nobody else sees color, but she saw something in color. Now, one of the funniest parts about this episode is, or weirdest, I should say, is Vision is chewing a piece of gum and accidentally swallows it. And it shows a cartoon, comically, shows a cartoon diagram of him having gears and stuff in his stomach, and it gums it up, and then he acts drunk.
Yeah.
So, the whole thing is, with Wanda's plot, is with the wives, all the wives are getting together, and there's this one head wife who's Queen Bee, and she's the one that's organizing the talent show.
Her name was Donna.
I can't remember, but she's organizing a talent show for the kids, or for the elementary school. And when, Wanda and Vision, they're going to be doing a magic act. Everybody else is doing their own little talents. They're doing the magic act. And so, this is Wanda's first time meeting her, and Wanda really didn't leave a great impression at first. And then we have this really weird scene where it's just Wanda and this Queen Bee, because I don't remember her name, but the radio, Dottie.
Dottie's her name.
Dottie's her name. Dottie's who you got to get in with.
Yeah.
If you want to be a part of the country club.
And they showed an example with that because a lady didn't count chairs or something. And she's like, well, don't ask me to be on a chair of a committee or something. So it really just kind of shows that.
So, anyways, when we see it's just Wanda and Dottie, there's a radio playing, and it's playing Help Me Rhonda. Not Wanda, but Rhonda. And then all of a sudden, we hear magical voice. We hear static. We hear a voice coming through. It sounds like Andrew has a theory about who it might be. I have no clue. I can't place the voice, but Andrew thinks.
I think the most familiar voice that it could be from the cast list is Randall Park from Ant-Man and the Wasp. He's the police officer who likes the magic tricks, and he's like Scott's probation officer. So I don't really know why he'd be part of this.
Well, he's FBI.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it might be a government operation.
Yeah.
Looking for.
But that's like the most familiar voice I think I could put it with, but I don't even know if that's him. It's just from the cast list that makes the most sense.
Well.
And he's saying, help me, not him. And he's saying, where are you, Wanda? Who's done this to you? So it almost seems like she is being held against her will.
Well, we don't know if she's being... Sorry, man. We don't know if she's being held against her will.
That's what it sounds like.
It sounds like it could be. So, one of the speculations we have is, are they in a... We know this ties into Doctor Strange's movie.
Well, we don't know. We just think so.
Okay, well, we're assuming because she's in that movie as well. But, so she could be in another universe. Like a sitcom universe. Or... What horrible world that would be.
Imagine coming through the multiverse and they're like, where are you from? You're like, I'm from the sitcom universe.
As long as I could be in Family
That'd be
Guy.
the most embarrassing thing.
No, you could be in Married with Children. You could live in Married with Children for a little bit, get your laughs. I mean, there's all kinds of TV shows you could live in.
Yeah.
Be great. Are you kidding me? You could be on the Nerd Show.
The Everyday Nerd Show.
That's right.
Hit that subscribe button right now.
But anyways, I think with this, we don't know. It could be another universe, like a sitcom universe. It could be like another dimension inside. It could be in her head, maybe. Maybe she's just in a chair in a coma. But we don't really know. I mean, that's very unlikely, but we really don't know. But Andrew, you've got a theory on this, that it could be a place.
It's called New Salem. So it's called New Salem. And we haven't even brought her up yet because we're crazy. But there's a character in the cast list. It's Catherine Hahn. And the cast character name is Nosy Neighbor. But her name is Agnes. And to me, that sounded like a Marvel character that I'm a little familiar with named Agatha Harkness. And she is like a mentor to Scarlet Witch. And she rules over this place called New Salem. And it's where they hold witches, wizards, warlocks. So maybe it's something to do with that. Because in the trailers, she's even in a witch costume. When they're in their old, classic costumes for Halloween, she's in a witch costume, and it's black and purple. As you can see on screen, probably right now, her outfit's black and purple. And then, that might be an Easter egg, but she also knows the Vision's dead. And then she laughs like a witch.
Questions if she's dead because she knows Vision's dead.
Am I dead?
No. Why would you think that?
Because you are.
Now, my biggest question is Vision dead, or is he or is he alive somewhere else?
Yeah.
And, because you see the Mind Stone very clearly on him. And I don't think this is in her head, so I think he is alive.
In the trailer, you do see it either explode again, but the way in the trailer, it doesn't look like particles are going out. It looks like they were coming in, like it was going back together somehow. So maybe they figured out how to bring him back, and that's going to be shown as a beforehand to make her happy in her little prison world, if that's where she's at.
Well, yeah, we don't know. Like, a lot of the theory is that she, especially before the show aired, that she might have created this world to be happy.
Now that we see that, though, like, I still think it's a possible theory, but I really don't see that being what's going on.
I think they don't remember anything. They don't remember being Avengers, and they don't remember any of that. So it's like, they know who they are, but they don't remember anything other than that, and it's almost, it's almost their information in their heads is almost limited to the plot of the TV show that they happen to be in that week.
Yeah.
Where did you two move from? How long have you been married? And why don't you have children yet?
Our story.
I think what my wife means to say is that we moved from...
Moved from where? Married when? Damn it, why?
Yeah.
So it's weird in a way. Now, one thing that we haven't brought up yet, though, are the two that really makes me wonder about this is there's two commercials. Like, these TV shows actually have their own in-universe commercials. And one of them's a toaster for Stark Industries.
Yeah.
And it's the, toaster?
Stark Toaster 2000.
Stark Toaster 2000. And then we have a watch that's got the Hydra logo on it, just in plain sight.
It has Strucker, which is the guy from Age of Ultron that made Wanda.
So, that's cool if it's just a little Easter egg, or maybe,
they're both pieces of their past.
They're both pieces of their past, or maybe,
And in the cast list, there is another piece of their past. Just going to bring that up real fast. James Spader is credited as Ultron. We didn't see him, but
we haven't seen him yet.
Maybe he'll be a commercial.
Will he be a commercial? Oh, man, that'd be a terrifying commercial.
Help me take over the world.
Can't you see I'm trying to save the world?
Yeah.
By dropping a meteor on the planet. This episode, we've definitely got a lot of possibilities as to what kind of world they're in. We've seen, and what's the lady's name that gets pulled out? What was her name?
The actress's name is Teyonah Parris. I hope I'm saying that right. Her character was Monica. And in the trailers, we watched them right after we watched. She says, Wanda asked her, "Who are you?" She says, and she looks like terrified.
Wanda, what's up? Who are you? I don't know.
And it looks like she had a tear, maybe.
Yeah, because she didn't remember.
Yeah, and she says, "I don't know." So maybe people are getting brainwashed and thrown in there to where they just know who they are. And then at the end of the second episode, we haven't brought this up yet, but we see a bee man, and he's got all kinds of bees around him, and he's got the sword logo on his back. So it's popped up at least 3 times in main spotlight.
Well, the funny thing about that is he comes out of Storm Drain. It freaks everybody out.
Well, only the 2 that saw it.
Only the 2 that saw it. Wanda reverses time.
She says no.
And then it goes back to time. And by the way, we should point out, before this happened, she just stood up and was pregnant with a nice little baby bump. And, they just went with it. This is how it gets when you're pregnant. You've got a flat belly 1 second, and the next second, you're pregnant with a baby bump. They don't question the reality.
Maybe they're not trying to make super babies.
I don't know what's going on, but it seems like they're not questioning reality. They're just rolling with it. You'd normally think, "Oh, wow, I was not pregnant 2 minutes ago."
Yeah. Maybe this is an introduction to Wiccan, though. That's the kid in the comics.
Well, I think she is pregnant.
I think in one of the trailers we saw her with 2 babies.
Yeah, well, I know she's pregnant, but it's like I said, they just didn't question it because she wasn't, and then she was, and she was really pregnant.
Yeah,
because she had a baby bump, and they didn't question it. It's just that's something I'd like to point out. They're not questioning their reality.
They're just rolling with it. They're rolling with the punches.
They're just rolling. Yeah, they're just rolling with it. So that's interesting to see. But also, once she reversed time back to where she found out she was pregnant, Vision turns into color. Everything, the whole apartment turned into color, and that's kind of where we left that episode off of. So, like, we don't know why things are turning to color. Does she see the color, or does Vision see the color? Does everybody else see the color?
And as the color came in, there was music that, like, was more noticeable than any other music in the show, which is kind of what happens with the clock and the radio.
So
when the glass shatters and she sees the blood. Did we talk about that?
No, I don't think we did. Oh, man, how did we miss that? So in the episode, or in the scene with the radio, you know, Miss Dottie's glass just shatters in her hand, and everything's still black and white here, but her hand, the blood is red, and it doesn't appear that Dottie noticed the blood was red, or maybe she did. And
she made like that little witty remark, like, you know how you get blood out of white linen? You do it yourself. And then she just walks off like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Everything's weird.
Well, there's glitch. These people are having glitch moments, if you ask me, like a little bit here and there.
And Wanda doesn't glitch when they do.
No. And also, we'd like to point out the talent show went off without a hitch. The magic show did. Vision was drunk during it, so there's hijinks ensuing. But I'd like to point out she teleported somebody. That's not a power she has.
Yeah.
She made somebody teleport. So she's demonstrating powers that we have not seen yet. Her have.
I don't think we've seen her transform anything from like a piano to a fake piano.
No, we have not. She is definitely. And so that makes me wonder, is being in this place giving them these powers? Or are they discovering these powers for the first time? I mean, let us know what you think after you watch the episode.
Leave it in the comments.
Yeah, leave it in the comments. We're about to wrap this up. Any last thoughts on these episodes? What would you rate the first episode?
This is just the last little thing to make your brain start running for maybe later in the season. Just the last little parting thought. Evan Peters, who is Quicksilver in the X-Men movies, like the newest ones, is casted in this show with no character, so maybe this will be part of the multiverse and X-Men coming, because Deadpool 3 was just announced as a part of the MCU.
This could be how we get to X-Men, and a lot of people have speculated on that already.
So, that's just a thought to think on. So, back to it, rating this show. 1 out of 10 like we always do. Episode 1, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. It was kind of just a good setup, as exactly what I thought. It'd be a sitcom-like thing, and then at the end they throw you a bone to get you drawn into the season. Episode 2, I think I'd give it 8 out of 10. It was a better episode, it was more juicy, and there was more stuff to make you question what was going on. So, what would you give this?
First episode I thought was an 8. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I really liked the callbacks to 1950s TV shows. And then in the second episode, we got a lot more questions raised and a lot more interest. My interest is peaked. I can't wait. I can't wait for next Friday's episodes to drop.
Hopefully it's 2 again.
Hopefully, that would be nice if they do too, but most likely this was just a treat for the first
Especially
week.
because it got delayed from December to January.
So next week may just be one episode, so
maybe we'll see Darcy Lewis.
Fingers crossed. I give the second episode a 9.
If you want 2 episodes next season 2, make sure to hit that subscribe button and punch that bell. It'll let you know whenever we post content if you think we're doing good.
And please, guys, engage us. Let us know in the comments what you think. What are some of your ideas? How do you think this is going to shake out? Let us know if you think we're absolutely wrong. Let us know if you think we're absolutely right. But please, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. I am Daniel.
I'm Andrew.
And we are Everyday Nerds.
We handled that pretty well.
I think we did handle that pretty well.
We handled that pretty well.
And
Well, I think we handled that well.
on that note, we will see you next time, guys.
And hit that like button.